What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Today we are recapping the trading week of August 5th. And as you can see, I have my three Apex accounts pulled up, all PAs. Cumulative for the week, we are at roughly 16K for the week. There is, I think last Friday was counted in there as well because I'm on day 6. Monday will be day 7 of the PAs. We'll be able to request the next payout in that cycle, hopefully at the end of the week. So this is the cumulative PA for the week, but I want to walk you through what I was looking at and what my thesis is going into this week, which is going to be the trading week of the 12th. So a majority of my trades were actually to the upside. Normally, I'm a little more short bias. For me, that's easier to see on the chart and within the price action. But a majority of my trades were to the long side. I took roughly 33 trades over the week with a win rate of roughly 54%. So need to work on that along with my average hold time. My hold times for my winners are sub 1 minute. Also, my losers are the same. But the good news is my average winner is often double my average loser. So we have a good sight in picking proper trades to take, but what I need to work on is holding those winners longer. The issue with that is NQ, specifically the NASDAQ, it moves really quick. It can sneeze and wipe out a 50-point move. So that's why I try to take my profits as I can, especially with the Apex trailing drawdown. But those are all ways just to kind of mitigate my trading, learn some trading along the way, and really just perfect my strategy, which is scalping the trend itself and taking positions along the way, taking quick profits along the way as well. So, and I keep my size consistent as well. Everything you see is all 3 lots, and I have a pretty tight stop loss as well. So without all that out of the way, let's jump right into the chart. And you can tell that with the daily chart here, we are in a pretty good move up, I think, especially coming off of the 8th. And then the 9th was a little bit of an inside day, but we have to chew up some of these imbalances. And we have a large imbalance zone that we have to pretty much go back through, reconcile, and determine where we want to go. So the daily chart tells me that we are in somewhat of an uptrend, but we have 2 very strong days of selling pressure to mitigate. There are, of course, some passive orders sitting up there, so that's just something to watch out as we roll through the week. But let's just jump right into the 4-hour chart and start to plot some levels that I'm looking for. And one thing that I noticed, I just have the VWAP pulled up as well. But we could pull up some of the higher time frame moving averages, the 50, 200, 100. It is evident that we are still in the downtrend based off of the larger EMAs. Now, mind you, if you trade EMAs, that's pretty clear to see. But if you're not a fan of EMAs, it does give you somewhat of a picture, in my opinion, where you could have some bounce zones, some retest zones. I like to incorporate that into my strategy as well. But on the larger time frame, we are still in a bearish trend. But you'll notice we're sitting right at that 50 moving average. So things might start to turn around a little bit, maybe get us back to the 18,800 or possibly around the 19,000 level. So just something to watch there. I'm going to turn these back off. And what am I doing here? I'm going to turn these back off and I'll just leave the VWAP on. So as we are looking at the 4-hour, one thing I like is that we have clear swing lows now. So we've got swing low down here and then another swing low here. And as I look at this zone in particular, I like to call these zones or areas of interest because you truly do not know what is going to happen when the price and the price action gets to these levels. But we have 2 clear swing lows here. And then on this 4-hour candle here, that was the 6 a.m., sellers tried bringing this thing down, but buyers bought it right back up. So I think we are safe in the 17,000 level pending no crazy geopolitical or political actions that come about this week or at least through the month of August. I think we are going to start to move ourselves a trend up and likely form a new range as well. I think we're going to form a 4-hour range here because if you look at this imbalance, this is a pretty big imbalance that we have here. But if we're to chart this with just a box to depict what the range would look like, I think with this imbalance right here that I just kind of drew out, you can see with these wicks that we could form some price action in here where we can just chop around, really start to chew up the 18,000s before we move to 19,000 and back to potentially retest all-time highs. One thing to be on the lookout for, though, is as we look at the larger time frames, I mean, you have liquidity just above, draw out another one just above there right here. And now we're clearly into the 20,000s. Obviously, this is a longer time horizon, but this is a chart that I'll be pulling up throughout the week, throughout the remainder of the month to see where we are and where we're retesting. Because if this is an area of discount, we can potentially move ourselves back up into premium, start to trade the range, and make our profits along the way as we come back down to retest premium, discount, and vice versa. But this is what I'm looking for at this time. So in the 4 hour, I'm actually pretty darn bullish on this. I think we're going to start to form somewhat of an uptrend channel until we get into the 19,000s. But we have a lot of sellers to chew up along the way. Going into the 1 hour, the range becomes a little bit more clear as well. And you'll notice that we have some buyer imbalances along this zone in the 18,300s and not so much in the 18,000, in the low 18,000s. But I think we have a reasonable bounce area right here that we could potentially watch. Now, mind you, I have no idea what's going to come here until we look at the price action. But the purpose of me drawing these boxes on the chart is just to give us a general idea of where we could see a potential bounce, or at least when I realize price is coming to that area, I can watch and with my strategy and confluence, potentially take a position on that. But again, is this going to be an area of discount that we can look at to purchase to run up into the premium? I think we are headed towards somewhat of a premium right now. This would strike me as more of an equilibrium price action, especially right at the 18,500 level. Just numerically, it seems like what would the median price be, where values kind of floating around, we don't really know. So looking at the volume profile would really help us on that as we go throughout the week and throughout each trading session too. But as we look more left on the 1 hour time frames, are we going to start to see this resistance area turn into support with this box that I just plotted out right here at the 18,200 level, 300 using as support? But then we have this resistance here that's right at the 19,200 level in our next area of interest. So would this support then turn into, this resistance then turn into support as we move ourselves up to these liquidity zones in the 20,000s? Those are more of the macro plays that I would like to see play out, which is what I'll be watching on a separate monitor while I'm trading. But moving down into the 30-minute, you're going to notice that we're just going to have a little bit more sideways price action. We're really not doing much. We actually have a separate 30-minute range that we're kind of in right here anyways, from about the 523 level. Yeah, just below 18,000, right about 18,000 exactly. So, if we have a 500, point area of interest or consolidation, that would tell me the market is ready to potentially make another move up. Again, barring any geopolitical issues. The moving averages tell us that we're still in a bearish trend, but on the lower time frames, it appears as if we are starting to chew away at that and move ourselves up. And I think that is indicative with the 50 moving average as well. Not going to waste much time in the 5 and 1 minute time frames, but again, you start to see we have a clear double bottom here. We have somewhat of a triple bottom here in this zone. Now we're starting to consolidate and move ourselves up, right? So I think testing 19,000 this week is definitely in play. And what we do when we get beyond that remains to be seen. But again, my job is not to tell you where the market's going to go. It's to analyze where it could go and then react when we get to those zones. So that wraps up this trading week, guys. Going to keep consistently shooting for roughly $1,000 per day in profits across my funded accounts so we can move towards the payout request on Friday. So any questions, guys, please comment down below. Let me know. And then we are only roughly 50 subs away from 1,000. So if you guys could subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. I have no plans on selling anything to you guys. This is mainly to actually become a good trader and not just make money talking about trading like 90% of the rest of YouTube. So would appreciate your support. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.